1.5 million by 2030.
Yes, it is our view. I think right now we're in a risk-off period generally. And if you've been watching Bitcoin, it's almost been a leader in terms of risk on, risk off. So
비트코인이 2030년까지 150만 달러를 간다는 아크 인베스트의 캐시우드가 다시 돌아왔습니다. 최근 자금 유출과 시장 불안 속에서도 그녀는 여전히 비트코인은 강세장 한가운데 있다고 말하죠. 이번 영상에서는 캐시우드가 말하는 왜 지금이 진짜 비트코인의 기회인지, 밈코인에 대한 충격적인 경고와 토큰화가 어떻게 기존 금융 생태계를 바꿔놓을지, 그리고 연준의 금리 인하 시그널까지 전부 짚어드립니다. 단순한 가격 예측을 넘어서 암호화폐의 본질적인 흐름을 꿰뚫고 싶은 분들, 이번 영상 꼭 끝까지 시청하시길 바랍니다.
I want to start right with Bitcoin and what you see as the outlook for Bitcoin's price. In recent weeks, you've come out and said $1.5 million per Bitcoin by the year 2030. Since then, though, we've seen quite a few outflows. We've seen a lot of volatility. Sonali just went through that. Is that still your view? 1.5 million by 2030.
yes, it is our view. I think right now we're in a risk-off period generally. And if you've been watching Bitcoin, it's almost been a leader in terms of risk on, risk off. So I think that's what we're seeing. If we look at our on-chain analytics, what we see is, I'm sorry, I have to get this off. If you look at our on-chain analytics, what you will see is that we are in the middle of, we're a little bit more than halfway through a 4-year cycle. We think we're still in a bull market. And we believe that the deregulation that we're seeing here in the United States is going to be very important to institutions moving into this new asset class. Asset allocators have to have a point of view on this new asset class. And we think by putting it in portfolios, risk-adjusted returns for the entire portfolio will go up.
여기서 캐시우드의 주장을 뒷받침하기 위해서 가장 최신의 온체인 데이터를 좀 더 소개드리겠습니다. 이 표는 비트코인의 비활성 공급량 전환 지수를 나타내는 것인데요. 이를 통해 녹색, 보라색 막대로 표시된 비트코인의 장기 보유자가 증가되고 있으며 그들이 여전히 비트코인을 홀딩하고 있음을 알 수 있습니다. 해당 지표는 장기 투자자, 시장 참여자들의 행동을 분석할 수 있으며 휴면 상태에 있던 비트코인이 얼마나 장기 투자자로 전환되는지 측정하여 장기 보유자들이 자산을 현금화를 하는지 아니면 홀딩하는지 파악할 수 있습니다. 따라서 해당 지표를 볼 때 최근 장기 보유자들의 유의미한 매도 압력이 미미함을 알 수 있으며 스마트머니가 빠져나가지 않고 다음 상승을 준비하고 있음을 알 수 있습니다.
I have a question about Robinhood in particular. Do you think it looks more and more like Coinbase in the future? And to the extent that you're buying more of it, is it on the thesis of expanded stock trading among retail investors, for election betting, or expanded crypto trading? What of those three things is your favorite thesis?
Well, our main thesis for both is we're looking for the winners in the digital wallet space. Most of us are not going to have many wallets. You can think about this in the same way you think about credit cards. Most of us don't have very many credit cards. So we're looking for those winners. And, you know, Robinhood and Coinbase are coming at this from different angles, of course.
So what does this mean in terms of where you see things going? Do you see more of a sell-off before things get better in these risk assets, Bitcoin or otherwise? How do you know that we're not at the lows?
So one of the things we think is going on right now is, and Treasury Secretary Bessent today said he does not believe that we're going into a recession. We think we've been in a rolling recession and that we are actually going to see some negative quarters here. And that's because the velocity of money is collapsing as people the labor force is worried that, and we're talking about federal, state, and local, quasi-government categories like education and healthcare. There's a lot of fear around job security right now. So we see the saving rate going up. We see the velocity of money coming down. And we do think we'll see 1 or 2 negative quarters. What we believe that will do is set this administration up and the Fed up with more degrees of freedom for tax cuts and perhaps lower interest rates or at least ending quantitative tightening.
Hey, Kathy, you and I have spoken quite a bit over the last few months. You were optimistic about the Trump administration, specifically with regard to disruptive technology and your thesis, but also with cryptocurrency. You just spoke about the easing regulatory environment around crypto. I'm curious, though, what you think about President Trump's relationship with crypto. The Wall Street Journal reported that the Trump family has held deal talks with Binance following that guilty exchange plea. And then also you have the president getting into meme coins. You have World Liberty Financial. Are you at all concerned that the Trump family is too close to crypto?
Well, I think the Trump family is very supportive of crypto, which is great. It's completely different from the environment we had been in. Our view on meme coins, we're not as focused on them. We would not be putting them into our various private funds. Because, and I think that, the combination of AI and blockchain technology is creating millions of these meme coins. We think most of them are not going to be worth very much. We think there are just going to be a few crypto assets that will gain most of the spoils in the entire ecosystem.
Kathy, even some of the people who believe most firmly in the crypto story here, they are still worried about those meme coins and a lot of retail investors being stuck holding the bag. And another thing that's happening at the same time is you have a lot of exchanges looking to loosen their listing standards. Do you worry that this could go too far, that too many coins that are going to hurt retail investors ultimately will be listed on too many exchanges?
Well, I think that the SEC did a very important thing in declaring these meme coins not securities. What they essentially were saying is, we are not going to regulate them, and it's buyer beware. And so if I have one message for those listening who are buying meme coins, buyer beware. And I think the message is loud and clear from the regulators. What we think will happen is there will be some fearsome declines in the prices of some of these meme assets. And, there's nothing like losing money for people to learn. And they'll learn that the SEC and regulators are not taking responsibility for these meme coins.
Buyer beware of what specifically? Because you did say that you believe that there are only certain crypto assets that will gain the most spoils. What do buyers need to be aware of?
That the millions of meme coins will probably end up worthless. So when we're talking about the big three, we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. The use cases for those are multiplying. And we think they're going to become very important in the years ahead. Meme coins, not so.
What about Trump's meme coin? Is that one of the ones that you think will become worthless, Kathy?
It's interesting. Meme coins will be collector's items. So digital collector's items. And so, of course, some will withstand will withstand the judgment of time. And that may be one of them. But our working assumption is that when you're talking about millions of meme coins, that that's just a step too far, and that most of them are not going to be worth very much.
Kathy, I want to switch gears here a little bit and talk about something that I know you've been focusing on a lot, tokenization. Now, one question I have about this is, do you think the investment community, particularly the venture community, is underestimating how catastrophic this could be to their business model? If you have companies that can raise money through tokens rather than through traditional venture capital and go public this way or list this way rather than through the traditional listing process, is that a sea change coming for the way that this has typically been done?
I actually think it's very complicated, but in terms of our own venture fund, and we did start an interval fund, which is a 40 Act fund. I mean, we could see tokenizing that, putting it on chain, and enabling many more people to get involved with the private world. And I think other venture capital firms could do much of the same thing. I do agree there's going to be a lot more competition, a lot more ways to fund new companies. So that is true as well. So I'd say this new world's going to be complicated. When we hear Larry Fink of BlackRock saying he wants to tokenize everything, It's big because it takes a lot to move the needle at BlackRock. So we're watching the tokenization movement very closely for our own purposes as well.
In the meantime, I do want to ask you a big picture question about crypto, because I think for a lot of people, they look at these tokens as stores of value, as bets that they'll go up in the future and they'll be worth more and their portfolio will grow as a result. When do you see use cases for crypto, maybe specifically Bitcoin, actually affecting us in the real world? You spoke about tokenization just now, but when will we see crypto being used as something else apart from just a store of value?
Well, I think what is happening with the stablecoin movement, which we're going to see deregulation and legislation this year, we think, which will open the doors to stablecoins. So USDC, that's Circles, USDT, that's Tethers. That's the on-ramp into DeFi, decentralized financial services. So you're already seeing lending and saving and yield harvesting taking place on these ecosystems, which are supported by Ethereum and Solana. And of course, you're seeing wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum as well. So Bitcoin's trying to get into the game. But in terms of real utility, if you go to emerging markets, and I know this is not this market, but you go to emerging markets where their currencies destroy purchasing power and wealth with massive devaluation. So it's really their policy leaders. They are using Bitcoin in particular, but also stable coins, which is effectively the dollar, as backstops to their purchasing power and wealth, because they've been through too many of these devaluations. So I think the real utility, if you're looking at stable coins and Bitcoin today, is in the emerging markets, really protecting consumers' purchasing power and wealth.
Kathy, you have the great challenge of investing in innovative solutions at a time where the market is nervous and discounting the idea of putting more money to work in innovation at the moment. And to the extent that you could choose one single biggest conviction bet that you would make right now, what is it and why?
We have been known for our Tesla call and our Bitcoin call, and those still stand as two of our biggest calls. For sure. I would add, in the AI age, platform as a service companies like Palantir, which are really enabling large enterprises to move into this AI age and enjoy the efficiencies, the cost effectiveness, and to create new products and services. Those, I think, are going to be very big as well.
정리해보면 캐시우드는 여전히 비트코인의 150만 달러 전망을 유지하고 있고, 지금은 단기 조정이 아닌 기관 진입 전 마지막 기회라고 말합니다. 수백만 개의 밈코인은 무가치해질 것이고, 비트코인, 이더리움, 솔라나가 핵심이 될 것이라며 살 때와 버릴 때를 구분하라는 강력한 메시지를 남겼죠. 또한 토큰화를 통해 기존 벤처 모델이 무너질 수 있다는 경고도 있었습니다. 지금 이 흐름을 이해하고 움직이는 사람이 결국 승자가 될 겁니다. 오늘 준비한 내용은 여기까지고요. 영상에서 인사이트를 얻어가셨다면 코인 소믈리에 채널 구독, 좋아요 한 번씩 부탁드립니다. 또한 비트코인 단기 관점 및 데일리 브리핑은 텔레그램을 통해 전달드리고 있으니까요. 관심 있으신 분들은 고정 댓글 통해서 오늘까지 입장해 주시길 바랍니다. 이상 피터였습니다. 감사합니다.